Hey, 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 it is an unstoppable day. It's your boy Terrence, the unstoppable Coach Leffridge, and we are on day 11 of gratitude, a 30-day video challenge on the Unstoppable Thoughts Show with Coach Terrence. Thank you guys for tuning in today, whether you're watching us live or whether you're watching the replay. We thank you. Come on in, like and share, post some comments down in the comment section because this is a great day to be grateful, a great day to have an attitude of gratitude. And the purpose of gratitude, a 30-day video challenge, is to help you in some shape, form, or way to focus more on what you're grateful for instead of focusing on those things that may be keeping you stuck, keeping you stopped, and keeping you down. We do this each and every year during this season to help people focus on the positive because Lord knows there's a lot of negativity out there that is keeping us locked in our own minds. So, welcome again to Gratitude, a 30-day video challenge. Now, if you've been following us through the 11 episodes that we've been through already, you know sometimes I've been doing all by myself with my own gratitude story. But occasionally we love to bring in other people to share their gratitude story. And today is no different. We have with us a wonderful new friend to the Unstoppable Thoughts Show, Sabeeta Bisadie. Hey, Sabeeta, how are you?
Hey, Terrence, good morning. And good morning, unstoppable people. How's the weather down in Florida, Terrence?
Oh man, it is a cold 82 degrees. I don't know how I'm going to deal with it.
Well, you gotta take it and take it as it comes, right?
Yes, absolutely. And you hail from the big state of Texas, right?
Man, we've got the most bipolar weather in the United States. Do you know that? We can have four temperatures in one day. We can range from cold to extremely hot. It is what it is.
Yeah, well, they say you guys do it big in Texas. So whether it's food or whether it's weather, you guys do it big. So
Absolutely.
and what I love about you, and I'm sure you'll share it as you go through your gratitude story, even though you're in Texas, you are truly a woman of the world. Just looking over your bio and having a chance to talk to you a couple of times as a result of this great connection called social media. You have lived in all parts of the world. You do business globally on a daily, weekly basis. So you have a great perspective of the world. And I'm sure you are more than grateful to have that opportunity. But before we get into your gratitude story, take a second, Sabeeta, and formally introduce yourself to the Unstoppable Thoughts family.
Well, thank you, Terrence. So guys, I'm Sabeeta. I'm out in Texas. You can hear my accent, I'm sure. And most of you Floridians, if you're in Florida, you would know this accent. You've got a strong Caribbean base in Florida. So I'm from a tiny Caribbean island called Trinidad, but in the last 20 years, I've managed to live in 5 continents. You heard Terrence talk about my international exposure. So I've worked across a number of spectrums. In the last 10 years, I would say my concentration has been on remodeling, repurposing, and redesigning strategies for different types of organization. I play a significant role in diversity, empowerment, and creating gender equality in the workplace because I've seen um, you know, how important a diverse workforce is. I call it disruptive innovation. So those are the areas I focus on. I do a lot of work in Australia, India, Asia, here in the US. And I'm actually starting to make some roots back into Trinidad, giving back Trinidad. So I'm really excited about that as well. So that's a little bit about me, Terrence.
Well, thank you for sharing that. I had the opportunity to take a cruise to Trinidad and Tobago, so I was so glad to be able to see that island, that country, that culture. And now I know someone who I can say personally is from Trinidad, so that is a plus as well. Thank you so much
Yeah.
for sharing that. Now, you said something in your introduction that really stuck out with me, and I don't know if it's part of your gratitude story, but I want to pull it in to this episode because I think it is apropos for the times that we live in. You
Hmm.
mentioned that part of what you do with business is that you help them by remodeling, repurposing, and repositioning their business. And
Yes.
you know what? Those three words not only apply these days to business, they apply to our personal lives as well.
Hmm.
We've been through some things or are continuing to go through some things during this time in our life that have required us to pause and to pivot, that have required us not only to reflect, but like you said, remodel, repurpose, and reposition ourselves for what's about to come in our future, whatever that may be, depending on the roller coaster that we've been on so far. So I love those three words, not only for what you do in business, but I'm sure you also help in some shape, form, or fashion, help people do those three things in their personal life. Yes?
Absolutely, absolutely. And when I work with my clients, I partner with them. It's not just about your corporate success, because I believe your personal success has a lot to do with your entire attitude towards what you do in your professional capacity. So I work with them a personal fulfillment role as well.
Yes, and I'm grateful that you are able to work with them personally as well as professionally, and I'm grateful that you shared those three things. And not like I said, I don't want to segue away from your gratitude story, but I do want our audience also to recognize that be grateful that you have the ability. If you're listening or watching this show right now, you too also have the ability to remodel, repurpose, and reposition yourself right now in this day and time for what's going to come ahead. And that, in my opinion, is something to truly be grateful about. But Sabita, tell us what you're grateful for today.
It's funny. Last night I was reading an article, and gratitude seemed to be like popping up everywhere. And I said, wow, it's funny how the universe manifests itself. But there was one quote, and it was a quote by Confucius, and it said, um, it went like this, I was complaining about having no shoes until I met a man that had no feet. And I believe that when I saw that, I said, you know what, I'm going to bring this up on today's show, because a lot of times we are so distracted by the things that are going wrong in our lives that we can't see the good things in our lives, the little things to be thankful for. So for me, I see gratitude as a habit. I see gratitude as the way I look at the world and the good things that are in it. And when I give appreciation, I'm thankful for whatever situation I'm in. And be it, the good or the bad, I work through it. It's a So my gratitude story is pretty much based on how I approach the world. My approach is a heart-centered approach, where I try to be at peace with myself and all that I have in life. And I say, I stand with conviction when I say the more thankful I am, it's the more opportunities I get. I try to stay away from the negativity. We all have good days, we all have bad days. But I believe, if you hold on to the positivity and you publicly praise the good things in your life, that entire energy or aura just brings more positivity in your life. So, during the pandemic, we've all been affected in one way or another. I've lost family members, I've seen friends, lose their jobs, their homes. Uh, while we think about gratitude, you have to put yourself in the mindset of that person. How can they be grateful despite losses? And for me, I try to find gratitude by being in the present moment. It's about mindfulness for me. So prior to being in lockdown, when I was in the corporate world, I barely had time to focus on my kids because I was just so busy working. Now I'm working from home primarily. My office is home. It's crazy because everybody's working from home. And but it's fun because we see each other a bit more often. And I see that as something I should be grateful for, spending more time being in the present moment. I found that the pandemic has also given me an opportunity to build stronger connections and be able to stand in solidarity with my friends and my family, because I have a bit, I think because of the internet we're a bit more connected,
Yes.
and we're reaching out to find out how everyone is doing, just for top of mind awareness. When everything was normal, we just assumed we were, everybody was great. But now with the pandemic, it's more of a human effort to reach out and say, hey, how are you doing? Are you okay? So I've found my connections with my network have actually strengthened during the pandemic. So I'm really, really thankful for that. I I've had to become more resilient with my business models, and even repurpose my the way I do business. So a lot of my clients are international. So I would have had to, for example, I had meetings planned for a project in Malaysia in June, and that entire project was disrupted because I couldn't travel. So thankful for technology, and that's something I'm very grateful for. I'm very grateful for technology and the ability to stay connected in a world that would have otherwise been disconnected
Yes.
because of the pandemic. So I think that's a big part of my gratitude story. Technology has sustained my business, and it has actually enabled me to push into corners that I maybe would not have had opportunities before. So generally I think my gratitude story comes in the way I look at the world, the way I can see things, and I'm thankful that I'm not a negative person, but I'm very much positive. I like to see the glass half full rather than half empty. So that's kind of my gratitude story. I'm also thankful for the gift of life, for good health, for my family, my network. Those are the things I'm really, really thankful for.
Well, those are some things that are definitely something to be thankful for. Thankful for the positivity and grateful for the technology. Yeah, and I'm definitely grateful for the technology because that's by which we are able to do this show on a global scale. Many times we talked about the world was 6 degrees of separation. Six. But with this technology, we've gotten it down to one or sometimes even less than that. I mean, weeks ago, you and I didn't even know each other from a can of paint. And now you're on my show and we're talking like old friends and just looking and following you and seeing your story and hearing your authenticity. I'm grateful to have made that connection, but it would not have happened if not for the technology that the creator has blessed us with for a time like this. And then you said you're thankful for the positivity. And Lord knows we need a healthy dose of positivity for the times that we are living in right now. So easy to find negativity. Turn on the TV, negativity. Turn on social media, negativity. Walk out your door in many cases these days, negativity. But it's a little bit harder to find that positivity. And it's harder because it takes more effort to find it. It takes more effort. And you wouldn't think this would be the case, but it seems, Sabeeta, that it takes more effort to say thank you than to accuse somebody of something that they did to wrong you. And that's not how I was raised. That's not the world that I want to leave as a legacy to my children and my children's children's. That's not the world that I want to continue to live in. But that's the world that we seem to find ourselves in. And it takes people like you and like ourselves, like myself, continuing to put out there what you're thankful for. Thankful for the positivity, grateful for the things that we took for granted. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely, absolutely. And I want to go back to what you said, the simple act of giving thanks, saying thank you. I think far too often, Terrence, we take people for granted. When people has done something from us, we just expect them. It's part of the expectation. We don't put ourselves in their mindset to say, hey, how has this act of theirs disrupted other things that they had planned? So I think the mere recognition of us giving thanks, you know, for an act, a small act or a big act on anyone's part is really, really important, because it's an opportunity cost for that person, because they could have been doing something else for themselves rather than taking the time to say, hey, a simple thing is dropping a morning note. Hey, hope you're having a great day. I'm happy that you're in my life. You always bring a smile to my face, and for that I give thanks. Those simple things are so meaningful and they can just put a different spin to anyone's day. So it costs nothing. And, it's a free act. So why not do it, Terrence?
Absolutely. And I was just looking at you as you made that statement. And when you talked about the simple act, your face, you began to smile and the glow started to come out. And the one thing that research has shown us, science has told us that it takes far more muscles to frown than it does to smile. But the expression that a smile brings out is so much more jovial, so much more inspiring, so much more engaging than the frowns. And it just seemed like it happened so naturally and easy for you as you were talking about it. And for me, that's what I want for everyone. Every connection that I come in contact with, I want to leave them smiling versus frowning, because I know if that might be the only smile that they get in the course of that day, depending on what's going on in their life. So what yeah,
So,
and
so
you
Terrence, while you not cutting you, but while you talk about smile, because I've lived internationally, there are two things that are universal. Food is part
uh
of people's culture. You always embrace it. And the second thing is a smile. It
yeah,
is it is a cultural language of love internationally. Even if I've lived in countries where I couldn't speak their language, but I connected with people just by a smile. So I
right.
think it's one of those things I wear well. Maybe I've got to invest in Botox because I've got all these smile lines. But you know what? That's the aesthetics. I don't mind too much.
Well, as long as your husband loves it and your family loves it, that's all that's important, really. Don't change a thing. And smiling is a universal language. It's the universal language of love, in my opinion. And like you said, it
Absolutely.
transcends all cultures, it transcends all languages. If you can't say hello to a person because you don't know how to say it in their language, you can smile, and they 9 times out of 10 will pick up on what you're putting down. Let's welcome a
Yeah.
couple of people. We've got Muriel Tulakima. She is watching us all the way from Australia. She said hello to you too. We've got Marilyn Cricket Whipple. She is watching. She says that technology has been a blessing to those of us who are having to stay inside. Yes, that is so true. Stay inside, stay safe. We've got Nicole. She is watching us. She's saying hello. So thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure you like and you share as we talk about gratitude, a 30-day video challenge with our guest today, Sabeeta Bisadie. She's sharing her gratitude story. And you know what? You talked about a couple of things, but you also mentioned something to me off air, something else that you're grateful for. You've got a young son who is a rising star in the rap game. Now, I'm gonna tell you up front. I know very little about rap, and the little that I know, I ain't crazy about. But I reserve judgment. Tell us about your son and why you're so grateful for your son today.
Man, Keegan is just, I've got two sons, first of all, so I'm grateful for both of them.
All
So Keegan is the older of the two. He's 20. He's actually doing his undergrad at the University of Houston in communication. He's also an entertainment and sports writer for two magazines. But apart from that, ever since he's been a child, music has been his passion. And we struck a deal because I always believe in having a contingency. I said, hey, you want to pursue your passion? That's great. But music is such a competitive industry. You got to
Yes.
back it up with a plan B. So you get to university, and I'm going to support your music career. Funny enough, over the last 3 years, he's really been soaring. I mean, I've just seen him grow phenomenally as an artist. So he would come up with his own lyrics. He will find his beats. He'll work with his producer. He works with his distributor, gets his music out there. There's one called Bandit. It was a collaboration that he released, I would say, 2 years ago. His he had over close to 200,000 hits on
Wow.
Spotify.
Okay.
He's done one for his grandfather. So we lost my father very suddenly, and he did one, in memory of his grandfather. The words in it were just very moving, and it spoke about the emotions he went through and that during that journey in his life, losing his grandfather, who he was extremely close to, and he lost his grandfather like 2 days before his graduation from high school.
Wow.
Um, he's actually on two big projects. He's on one called Cons to Dons, which is, I mean, I'm not sure if you've seen the Cons to Dons
Yeah,
movement, but it's
Janelle Harris and
phenomenal.
her husband.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Oron and Janelle Harris doing amazing things out there. Keegan has done their soundtrack for Cons to Dons. Man, I play that. It's my ringtone. I jam it in the house. I listen to my son, who's a 20-year-old, and I think, damn, Terrence, he sounds like one of those hip hop artists who've been doing this thing for 15 years. I mean, his music is just amazing. It's clean, but it's relevant. So I think he spits out lyrics that are
Look
um,
at you. He spits out lyrics.
yeah, he does. He does spit out lyrics that are very relevant, that people can relate to. It addresses social issues. So Considine talks about the life of convicts. It
Hmm.
talks about, the negativity associated with prison. And it talks about reform. It talks about how important reform is, and reform is possible. And he portrays moving from darkness into light, and he portrays movement and mobility, and that's the one thing I love about his messages in his music. It always promotes something. Then he has one called Lost. I mean, 2020, we've lost 2020,
Yeah.
literally. A lot of people, not just lost revenue, we've lost loved ones. And I think that song that he has out, Lost, for anyone who's had a loss, it's an important song. The messages of finding yourself and just finding a way through the loss is really, really, really well constructed. He did an amazing job writing that. It's not very it's not dance music, but it's music that you can relate to. He's releasing two more next week. I think those are the hip hop dance ones. But he's
Okay.
doing some amazing things out there, Terrence. He's got one called World. World is fantastic because he dedicated that one to Juice World when Juice World died.
Okay.
I'm not sure if you know Juice World, but
Yeah. Yeah. I
you know
know
the
of.
story. You know the story behind Juice World's death. Well, yeah. So Keegan talked about the misuse of drugs. So yes, people have to use drugs if they're dealing with anxiety, depression, whatever it is. But it's how you use it. In terms of not abusing it, but using it to help you. So his songs, I mean, it's not profanity. It's not negativity. This guy, this son of mine, I'm so proud of him. He churns out music that makes a difference. It's meaningful. And then I can't not mention my other son. He is the graphic artist, so he does all the creative concepts. For Keegan's music, he's hoping to get into UT Austin to pursue an
Okay.
entrepreneurial degree. Very switched on. He's more of the business minded one. Yeah, so they kind of both know. What I'm happy for is they both know who they are, they
Right.
understand their identity, and they know what they want in life. So for me, that's important that my kids have figured out what exactly where they are and what they want.
So
There
they're
are a lot of 20-year-olds and 17-year-olds who are still going through
figuring it
this.
out.
But
Yeah.
reach out to my
Absolutely.
kids. I'm sure you guys can work together, and they can help you. They love giving back.
Well, you know what they say, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. So clearly your tree has bore good fruit. Now, is Keegan using his given name or does he have a stage
So
name on
his
Spotify?
rap. So he's on. Can I just drop it in here for you?
Yeah, you can drop it in the private chat and then we'll put it up
So
on the
this is
screen.
his name. So he's got his Let me send you his website as well. Um, so that's his. He has a website that you can see his entire story. He's going to be on two radio shows as well.
And is Keegan Keegan or GN?
Well, his name is actually Keegan, but his rap name,
Gotta get it
you
all
know,
right.
his rap name is Keegan. Um, his channel is HTTPS. Carrington, you can feel. I mean, I appreciate you sharing this. I'm giving you his channel.
Okay.
You can see everything about him. You can link to all his music. Um, so I just typed it in the chat there. KeeganMusic.com. So it's KeeganMusic.com.
Okay, we'll put that up
And
on
you
the
can find
screen.
his Spotify, you can find his YouTube, you can find him there. I mean, it's so important. to support young talent, especially
Absolutely.
when they're doing
Especially,
the right things.
yes, exactly. When they're, because there's so many people who, so many youngsters who are influenced by those people who are out there now that are not doing it the right way. You know, the flashy cars, the supposed champagne life that, you know, after the video is over, they're taking all that stuff back to the rental store, and the Lamborghini and the Bugatti is going back to the car store. But you know, people who are doing it the right way, you know, they say if you give a man a fish, he'll eat for a day. But if you teach a man to fish, he'll eat for a lifetime. So you're teaching
Yeah,
your sons how to eat for a lifetime. And I love how one is the visionary and the one is the accountability partner, the yin to each other's yang. And that just means the empire, your family empire, is going to be stable and it's going to be growing and growing for years to come. So I know that's just one more thing to be
to be
grateful for.
thankful for.
Wouldn't you agree?
Absolutely. Absolutely. You know, as a parent, all we can do is hope for a good legacy to leave for our kids. And you know, the mark we leave behind is so important, not just for, you know, family, but to the world, how we can touch the world, Terrence. We all have a gift, and it's so important to share that. A gift means nothing if you keep it to yourself.
Absolutely. A gift was never given to you just for you to keep. It was given to you to share to others. So
Absolutely.
Mural is saying we are grateful to Keegan. He is so talented. We've got Tanya Pate from Chicago. There are several that rap that are voicing what is happening in lyrical ways. They speak much truth with music. So definitely see people are feeling what your son is doing as well. So that is beautiful. Well, you know, we could talk forever and a day, but I know you probably have three other conference calls in four different parts of the world that you have to get to. So let's just kind of wrap it up. If you were to speak about gratitude to our audience, not just only from your own gratitude story, but the whole ideal of gratitude, what's one more thing you'd say to the audience right now?
So I would love to leave everyone with a Melody Beattie quote. It says, "Gratitude unlocks the fullness of life. It turns what we have into enough and more. It turns denial into acceptance. It turns chaos into order. It turns confusion into clarity. It can turn a meal into a feast. It can turn a house into a home, and it can turn a stranger to a friend." That's my message of gratitude to everyone.
Well, I'm grateful that you're no longer a stranger to me, Sabita, and hopefully we will continue to build this relationship into a friendship, not only online, but offline after we get through these times that we're going through right now. I appreciate you. This is Sabeeta Bisadie on the Unstoppable Thoughts Gratitude, a 30-day video challenge series. We thank you so much for joining us, whether you're watching us live or whether you are watching us in the replay. Hopefully, you found something in this video today to make you just stop and take a second and think about what you're grateful for. And now you're in the process of refocusing, repurposing, and repositioning your own views about gratitude, which in turn will refocus, repurpose, and reposition your life in what I think will be clearly positive ways. And if we can just make a difference in one person's life today, then we feel like we've done our job here at Unstoppable Thoughts by Coach Terrence. But wait, there's more. This is only day 11. Again, this is a 30-day video challenge. So here's two things. If you haven't watched the other episodes of the 30-day video challenge, shame on you, but I forgive you. Just go back to my page and you can watch all the episodes of Gratitude, a 30-day video challenge. And then come back tomorrow and the next day and the next day, because we are doing this for 30 consecutive days. 30 consecutive days of gratitude. And we're going to have more special guests and we're going to have more gratitude stories from me about what I'm grateful for during this time. If you want to be a guest on Gratitude, a 30-day video challenge, we've got two ways you can do that as well. First of all, just go DM me in the comments. Say, Terrence, I want to share my hashtag gratitude story. And then we'll connect with you and try to get you on the show during our remaining time of these 30 days. But you know what? Maybe you're not as fine as Sabeeta. Maybe you can't spit a rhyme like Sabeeta and Keegan can, and you don't want to be on camera. We got you faded. All you have to do is just send me one or two paragraphs of your gratitude story. You can email me at tleffridge@unstoppablecoaching.com. Two paragraphs only, because I ain't got all day to read your story, but I will read each and every story, and maybe it will be the focus of one of my individual gratitude story video challenges day. So again, number one, DM me if you want to be on screen, or two, just email me your gratitude story, and we'll make sure that we give thankfulness to you for sharing your gratitude story. Doesn't matter how you do it, it just matters that you do do it. Because here's one thing I know: your gratitude story may be the medicine to somebody's headache. Your gratitude story may be the one thing that saves someone from having another bad day. Your gratitude story may be the catalyst that allows someone else to look deep inside and find their gratitude story. And that makes all the difference in the world. So hopefully you will participate one of those two ways. But as always, wherever you are in the world today, you know what I say. Don't just make it a great day. Go out, share your gratitude story, and make it an
An
unstoppable
unstoppable day.
day. Take care.
Take care.